It's Saturday night.
The kids are in bed.
Which means we did it. We survived another week.
So let's talk about it.
From our latest homebrew project
to kids' crafting projects.
It's just talking life with 2 young kids and 2 dogs. Grab your favorite beverage, sit back,
relax,
and see where the conversation takes us.
Sometimes we don't even know until we get there. This is the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Well, here we are. We did it. We made it to the weekend. I honestly didn't think that would happen.
I was hopeful, but I had my doubts at times.
Yeah, it was pretty doubtful, but we did it. We're here. We made it another week, and we have to do it all over again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast. I'm Joe Ludwig, and that voice you hear is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline.
Hey, hubby.
How's it going? Welcome to Saturday.
I am here. I have a beer, and you are near. What else rhymes? I don't know. I'm in a rhyming mood, I guess.
Sear, near, fear.
Have no fear. Caroline is here.
There we are. Welcome back to our 3rd episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast. Episode number 3. That's really exciting for us. This podcasting thing is actually a lot of work. And I'm pretty familiar with the editing software and the equipment, but I don't know, somehow we still managed to lose an entire episode.
Well, that's what happens when your executive producer naps all of the time.
Yes. Blame it on the producer.
He's pretty cute, though, so I guess we'll let it slide.
Nevertheless, we are marching forward and we are continuing our podcasting quest. We have an amazing show planned out for you today. We are going to discuss all of our adventures from the last week, and then we are going to discuss St. Patrick's Day and how we celebrated it in the past, in the before times.
2 different kinds of before times. Before COVID and before kids.
Right. So let's dive right in. Speaking of our executive producer, he's celebrating a big milestone today.
Yep, he is officially 1 month old, and we are not sure if it's second child syndrome or second child has not had as many milestones as the first child had at this point in time. We don't have as many pictures of him, and we're not as like, woohoo, because we don't have a kid stepping down from 6 different pieces of equipment in the NICU. So Lily was 16 days old and she had already hit all of these milestones and we had all of these pictures of her. And Elliot is just like typical child. So we're like, okay, you're here. I don't have the ability to take a picture of you with less equipment on your face so I can see more of your face. But he's doing good. He's growing like a weed. We'll find out how big he is on Monday. I'm thinking 11-ish pounds. And
he started at almost 9.
Yeah.
And then he lost some weight and then he gained it all back.
Yeah, so maybe he's getting closer to 12 pounds at this point. I don't know. He's a big baby. He's also looking at us more, which is nice. And he's got some better head control. He's still sleeping a lot, but that's fine because that means I only really have to keep my eye on 1 kid at a time so far. Eventually, I'll have to keep my eye on 2 very mobile children. I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll stick like RFID sensors on them or something so I can tell what room they are in the house.
We'll train Clara to follow them.
We don't have to train Clara to do that. She'll do that anyway. She'll try to herd them. No, you kids have to play together. Oh, wait, don't play with me.
Poor Clara.
She's so needy, but we love her. So yeah, he's a month old. The time has flown. That means I only have 8 more weeks at home, maybe 7. I don't know. Math is hard. I need sleep. I didn't nap today, but I had caffeine. That was nice.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later because that was another adventure.
That was an adventure and a half.
Well, exciting thing happened to me today, actually. I got my hairs cut.
All of them.
Yes, all of them.
I think I did a good job.
I think it looks good. It needed it.
Yeah, I've been bugging you for like the last 2 or 3 months. Like, hey, let me know when you want me to give you a haircut because quarantine haircuts became a thing and your hair was getting a little long. But you don't have to go anywhere, so it doesn't matter too much.
I do a lot of video calls.
Oh, yeah, this is true. My company doesn't.
Well, I mean, when your wife calls you a skater boy and then starts singing it, I guess it's time to get your hair cut.
It was fitting. You were looking at me through those mid-2000s bangs. Brought me back to high school. Oh, Lord. High school. Let's not go there.
No, let's not go there. But fall spring is here. It continues to be here.
Maybe it's not fall spring. We can hope. My daffodils are growing, so they think that spring is here.
I'm pulling for another big winter storm mid-March, which would be this week.
But I want to go to the zoo again. No more big snowstorms.
I don't want a big snowstorm, but it usually happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's our chance to get out of the house, though. We throw Lily in her little car, we throw Elliot in the stroller, and we go for a mile walk. And everybody gets some fresh air, and everybody gets out of the house and doesn't drive me crazy for like an hour. It's nice. Fall spring is good. We want spring to be here. That means I'm not stuck inside 4 walls with 2 small children.
And 2 dogs.
And 2 dogs that want to go on the walks with us, but I can only handle so much at a time.
Lily and Elliot, as you said, they took lots of walks this week, and Lily got to play on her swing set in the backyard.
Yeah, I think she missed that. And I think by the end of the summer, she'll just be crawling all over that thing on her own, which is scary because she's adventure child. I don't know what she's going to try to do. Heavily supervised playtime in the backyard.
Yeah, that's for sure. That play set is a lot taller than I thought it would be.
Yeah, we could have got a taller one and a bigger one with more accessories. It would have been fun, but it would have been scary with this child. She wants to get up onto everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of fall spring, in Cincinnati, when spring comes, all the soft serve ice cream joints open back up.
Sometimes spring hasn't even come. I have gotten Zip Dip in a winter coat before and loved it. But Zip Dip's always the first one to open. They open the first week in March, and then it seems like every weekend until probably about mid-April, there's at least one soft serve place that's opening up because they're all scattered throughout the city.
And that's a Cincinnati thing, right?
It's pretty Cincinnati. Yeah, because my cousins that lived in Columbus and then Indianapolis had no idea what soft serve places were when they came to visit. They're like, what? You just go to a place to get ice cream? I'm like, yeah, the hokey mom and pop shop that's really yummy. But we have graters and they don't have graters, so they're missing out.
To clarify, graters is like premium ice cream and soft serve is like... How would you describe soft serve to someone who's never had it?
I mean, soft serve is everywhere. It's just a matter of they don't have the soft serve stands. But so
we have these little stands throughout the city, mostly on the west side, I would imagine.
Yeah, a good portion of them are on the west side. The building is usually about like maybe 300 square feet. Like they're tiny buildings and they're manned by high school students. And you can get any kind of variety of ice cream treat, like ice cream based, as far as cones, shakes, splits. Sometimes they'll have different flavors. Depending upon the place, they'll have different kinds of sprinkles, different kinds of toppings, different kinds of coats, like a chocolate shell versus a cherry shell versus a peanut butter shell. And then occasionally they'll have like hot dogs and pretzels, though usually you're just going there to get some kind of ice cream based treat. Medium twist with either a chocolate coat or chocolate sprinkles. Joe gets a medium chocolate shake.
I'm usually driving somewhere.
Yeah, or I'm driving it to him on my way home from work. Lily at this point gets some of whatever we're getting, though we are getting close to the point where she gets her own kitty cone. The girl can eat because she just had her doctor's appointment. She's 18 months old. She is 90 plus percentile for everything and is about the same size as most 2-year-olds. So she's a big girl, which we figured would happen because you're tall. I'm not exactly short, but Lily will be taller than me by the time she's in high school, if not sooner. So I have that going for me. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your adventure to the doctor with the 2 kids?
We survived. We made it there on time. Pregnant Caroline decided we're going to schedule Lily a doctor's appointment at 8:30 in the morning when Caroline is on maternity leave, forgetting maybe that I would be on maternity leave, so I would have 2 children.
It was Lily's appointment. I was working at home, and because of COVID, I couldn't go anyway, and there's no way for me to feed Elliot.
No, he only gets food when I'm around. So since I decided to make her a doctor's appointment at 8:30 in the morning, and because COVID can't have anyone come help me, I got up at 5:30 in the morning when Elliot woke up, got him back to bed, took a shower, ate some breakfast, and then got everybody dressed and out the door. By 8, you helped out a lot, which was good. Lily had to eat Cheerios in the doctor's office as her breakfast. We had no milk in the house because we had run out. So
that was my fault.
It was a joint. We'll both take blame for that one. So we managed to survive the doctor's visit. Elliot was well behaved, which was nice. Lily was attempting to show off her new skills, but can be shy sometimes, which was weird to see. And then I dropped her off at your mom's house and then took Elliot to Kroger with me so we could actually get some milk and some other supplies for the house so we could at least survive until the weekend. And by some miracle, he let me go to the doctor's office, drive him to all around town, and go to the grocery store without making a peep.
He was kind of hangry when he got home.
He was hangry when we got home.
And so were you. So it was not a good combination.
Yeah. But I didn't stop and get gas, which bit me in the butt later. But nobody had a mental breakdown. And I managed to run some errands, which was nice and needed.
Yes.
But since on Wednesday, too, we had an adventure day, Elliot went all over town because we decided we were going to meet up with a mutual friend to give him some homebrew supplies that we weren't going to be using. And we're like, well, we'll go to a brewery because we can maybe get a beer, maybe go someplace that had food, and decided to go to Taft's Brewporium with Elliot, leaving Lily at your mom's house a little bit later than usual. And that actually went pretty well, too. You got some baby snuggles. We got some loaded tot. We got some pizza.
I like Taft's. It's a good brewery. And they have it's local to Cincinnati, and they have 2 locations in town and then one in Columbus.
I think so. I think I remember them opening up a place in Columbus. We haven't been up to Columbus in a long while, though. But the Brewporium is nice because you can see the trains go by. So the next time we go, if we don't bring Lily, she's going to be mad at us, even though she won't know what she's missing. So we'll have to go some other weeknight when they probably won't be too busy to get some pizza and let her watch all the trains go by.
They were pretty busy for a Wednesday.
Yeah, they weren't super busy when we got there, but we got there at like 5 when most people are getting off work. But by the time we left, which was closer to 6:30, almost every table was full. We didn't go around the bar to see what the bar looked like.
I don't think anyone was sitting at the bar.
There were a few people sitting at the bar when I went up to the bathroom.
Oh,
but they only do like 2 seats, and then you spread everybody out.
They had really strict COVID guidelines. Everyone was socially distant. Masks are required.
Yeah. They have 2 doors to get in, one that has stairs and one that doesn't.
Right. And the one with stairs was designated as the entrance only, but then the one that doesn't have stairs was designated as exit only and was locked from the outside.
So we try to come in with the stroller, not having to carry the stroller up the stairs. And we're like, oh, the store is locked. Fortunately, there was a family that was parked near us that was also going in, and they're like, oh, here, we'll go in the entrance and we'll let you in once we get there. So they did let us in, and so we could go to the host stand to then go back to where we were to actually get to a table. But yeah.
That was a little silly.
A little crazy, but we also were bringing the stroller with us, so half that was on us. But also, there are only so many ways that you can carry a newborn.
Right. And their pizza is fantastic.
It is very yummy pizza. And their food at their downtown location is really yummy, too.
But it's completely different.
Oh, yes. Because that one's all like beef tips and yummy burgers and stuff. They both have good tater tots, though. So the tater tots are universal. The beer is universal. And their little speakeasy bar in the basement downtown is nice, too.
At the original location?
Yeah. Nellie's, whatever. I don't remember what it's called now. My brain has melted. It's been a week. I'm going to say that every week. People are going to be like, Caroline, is always a week. Stop saying that.
That's going to be your tagline.
Is my thing.
But let's see. I got the Cherrywood Amber, and you got the Maverick Chocolate Porter.
Yes, because Maverick is delicious in both senses. in the beer and the chocolate because Maverick is a local chocolate company that now delivers, which I found out when I was pregnant and you were reluctantly happy about. Is that a good way to describe your feelings on the matter?
I mean, when we end up with a lot of chocolate in the house, I'm both happy and sad.
It's free shipping when you order at least 5 bars.
Oh boy.
So, got to get that free shipping in. Otherwise, you're just throwing money away. That's how that works. Don't question, just accept.
Yes, that is how it works.
But yeah, I love it when our local places team up together. We always get yummy things when that happens. Typically, it's brewery collaborations, like Streetside and Brinkle do a beer together, or whatever brewery of the week does another thing with the brewery of the week. That's a bad way to describe it.
Listerman does a lot of collaboration.
Listerman does a ton of collaborations, and they're always yummy. But occasionally you get like Deeper Roots Coffee or Coffee Emporium or Maverick Chocolate or places like that that are doing collaborations with breweries, and you get some interesting beers. Maverick's available all year long, though. It's not as seasonal like most of them are. Or they're one-offs. But Taft's is our go-to place after we go to the zoo, usually.
Yes, and you and your mom went to the zoo. This week.
We did not go to Taft's afterwards, but it was pouring down rain. So we just kind of wanted to go home. My mom's birthday was this week. And so I said, for your birthday, we can go wherever you want, or we can do whatever you want. If we want to stay at the house, we can stay at the house. We can go to the zoo. We can go to the aquarium. We could go to a park, just somewhere where you will have a good time in addition to the kids having a good time. So Mom decided that we would use our zoo passes. First time we've used the zoo passes since we renewed them in November. And we would go to the zoo. And unfortunately, I didn't get reserved time slot tickets soon enough to get us there at like 10 a.m. So we had an 11 to 12 ticket. So we got there at 11:50 because it took a while to get everybody out the door. And we're like, oh, it's going to rain today. Well, we have a zoo pass. We don't live terribly far away from the zoo. We'll risk it for the biscuit. So we ended up spending a little over an hour at the zoo. We saw their new Australia section, Roo Valley, where we got to walk amongst the wallabies. Lily really enjoyed watching the penguins swim around. We got to see the gorillas and all the monkeys, which Lily enjoyed as well. Her little mind exploded at some point. Like I could see her brain short circuit, like, wait, I have seen this thing in a book before, but now it is moving and in front of me. What is going on?
Her mind did that a couple of times this week.
It did. We also did take her a few new places, so that helped. And then we went to see the giraffes, which all 3 of the younger giraffes were running around like crazy. And Lily did not want to leave the giraffes at all. She started to cry. And we're like, Lily, we're going to get food. Or see the elephants, because the sky is starting to look scary. So we only have time to do one or the other. So we went to one of the food spots. We were going to see if we could find a place to sit down that was under shelter. And while they did have a few picnic tables that were open, they only had like fabric sunshades over the picnic tables. There wasn't like non-permeable structure over the picnic tables. So we're like, okay, we'll go say hi to the elephants, then we'll head to the car and we'll go home. And we'll pick up lunch on the way. So we see the elephants. Lily waves to them. She says hi. It is adorable.
She says hi to everyone.
She does, but it's still adorable. It's like, hi, hi, hi. She's so cute. Soon we're going to have 2 cute ones. Oh boy, we're in trouble. So notice the wind is picking up and the sky is looking a little darker.
I'm texting you. It's raining over here.
Yeah.
At the house. When
we're at the giraffes, Joe's like, hey, it's pouring down rain at the house. Really bad. How's it going?
And to put in perspective, our house is west of the zoo.
Yes, we get weather a little bit before downtown does, or we get weather that downtown doesn't because it kind of goes north of downtown. So Joe's like frantically texting like, hey, you guys are heading to the car, right? Because it's pouring. It's bad. So we start to walk to the car. Mom questions whether or not we should take shelter somewhere before we get to the car. And I'm like, no, let's just power through. We're all going to be hungry. We're all going to be cranky. If we at least get to the van, we'll all be okay. Because the zoo a few years ago put in all of these solar panels in their parking lot. So you have basically covered parking, which is nice. And when we got there, I was going to park at one of the ends, semi-close to the entrance. But there isn't really anything that's close to the entrance because the parking lot is across the street from the zoo. But there was a car pulling out that was really close to where the escalators/elevators drop you off from the bridge. And I was like, sweet, we're going to wait an extra 20 seconds so we can get his parking spot. And that was our saving grace, because as we're going across the bridge, it's starting to sprinkle. We go down the elevators because we've got 2 strollers, see the zoo employees start to open up their umbrellas as we get out of the elevators, and notice, hey, it's raining a smidgen harder than a sprinkle. Let's kind of book it to the car. And pretty much as soon as we got under the shelter of the solar panels, it turns into a torrential downpour, to the point where I'm like, walk in front of the van instead of behind the van, because if you walk behind the van, you're going to get drenched. And so I tried to call Joe in the car on the way home to be like, hey, we made it barely, but we're all safe, we're all dry. Do you want us to pick you up some food on our way home? And he's like, I can't hear you. You have a lot of background noise going on as rain is pounding on the roof. And I'm like, I'll text you. Let me know if you want anything from Chick-fil-A, because that's where Mom wants to get lunch.
I do like Chick-fil-A, but I had leftover pizza for lunch that day. Speaking of dogs, our oldest dog, our first real child.
The practice child, the one where we made all of the mistakes. We learned.
She continues to be a brat. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. She just gets a wild hair up her butt and decides this thing that has been in my environment for well over a week needs to die. It didn't need to die when it entered my environment, but now, for some reason, it needs to die.
My mother-in-law, Caroline's mom, purchased Lily a quote, CD player that plays Sesame Street songs. It's this little plastic thing that has 3 buttons on the outside, and you insert the CD. Although this
quote unquote CD.
Yeah, the CD doesn't even really fit inside. It's really weird. It's not designed very well.
It's designed more for older kids. Lily's a bit too young for it, but she really likes it, so we can't take it away.
So it came with 4 CDs with multiple songs in each CD. And I guess we had the CD on the floor when we left to go somewhere. I forget.
It was overnight.
Oh, it was overnight.
Yeah. So the dogs get access to our bedroom and the living room overnight, because especially when I was pregnant, didn't really seem like there was enough room in the bed. So if someone got pushed out of the bed, they had the opportunity to sleep on the comfy couch instead of on the hard floor. So 3/4 of the time, Zoe would end up sleeping on the couch, which I think she seems to like better anyway. She's more of a loner. She's not into family social time, unless if it's a hike.
Or if there's food involved.
Oh, yeah. Anytime food is involved, Zoe is right there. But toddlers are going to toddler, and Lily had left her CD player and one of the CDs on the couch. And we didn't clean it up because we just said, well, she's going to get it out again in the morning. It's fine on the couch. It's not bothering anyone. Apparently, it was bothering Zoe.
She left the CD player alone, but she got the CD.
Yeah. Fortunately, she only messed with the CD, but now I have to buy a whole new book so we can get that CD. Mom asked me where the CD was, and I said, I know where it is, and just left it at that. It's at Rumpke Dump.
Anyway, I don't know why she just randomly does it. And you said it happened right as we were waking up.
I'm pretty sure so.
Because you heard chewing.
Yeah, because Elliot woke up. I had to go down the hall so I could change his diaper. Zoe was sleeping on the couch. Go back into the bedroom, get him settled down to go back to bed. And I hear some noises, and I'm like, what? Sounds like Zoe's chewing on something, or something's going on. Whatever, I'm really tired. I come downstairs and the CD is in pieces. But actually, Zoe had done the suspicious thing of coming back up into bed with us. That's sometimes how I know that she has done something she is not supposed to do. She's like, hey, family, I love you. You're my favorite. And I'm just like, why? What? Child, why do you do this?
She's anti-clutter.
Probably.
She's trying to teach us a lesson.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else happened this week? Something happened to you on the way home yesterday.
Yeah. So at the semi-last minute, we ask our friends if they want to come over for dinner so we can play some board games. And then, because it's Friday, Lily is at Joe's parents' house. And I was like, hey, can you guys drop Lily off? Do you want us to pick her up? Just let us know so we can make plans. Because if I have to pick Lily up, we'll have to tell our friends that they can come over later. And they say, we will drop off Lily. Going to drop her off. We're going to leave our house a little after 4, which we figure, okay, they'll leave their house sometime between 4:30 and 5. That's fine. Our friends can get here before Lily does. That's okay. Then we get a text message. We can't get out of our garage. The garage door won't open, and we can't manually open it by releasing the mechanism.
Which I don't know how that happened.
I don't either. That garage has been through a lot. I don't know what its feelings are. And unfortunately, the car with Lily's car seat in it is in the garage, and no one in the house really knows how to properly reinstall Lily's car seat. So they are not able to drop Lily off at our house. So I have to go pick her up. So I load Elliot into the car so Elliot can say hi to his Oma and Opa. Joe is still working. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick up Lily and the kids. I'll pick up Lily. And then after I get home, our friends can come over and Joe can go pick up dinner. So get Lily, pack her up, head home. I'm like 5 minutes away from the house. Traffic is slow, but it's what I expect because even though all of you non-essentials are working from home and are off the road, you still get a bit of traffic in the evenings when people are getting off work.
Especially on a Friday during fish fry season.
Oh, yeah. On the way to your parents' house, I passed a fish fry that had a line that was at least 30 cars long. And I was like, that must be a good fish fry, but I'm not waiting in that line. So, place where there's usually congestion, because I took like half the back roads to get home, but there's only so many back roads you can take before you're stuck with like the 3 roads that get us into our neighborhood. Traffic slow. I stop because there's a red light. And then I feel a love tap that isn't really a love tap because the guy behind me wasn't paying enough attention and hit me. So we pull over into a parking lot. Fortunately, my car doesn't have any damage. The kids didn't really even seem to notice because it was kind of just like a hard stop, like similar to a hard stop if we had taken one. But I'm freaking out because this is the 3rd car accident that I have been in since 2017, 2018, 2021. Caroline has been in some kind of car accident that is not her fault. So I'm freaking out because I have 2 small kids in the car. I've got 2 very expensive car seats in my car that fortunately we get the nice car seats so we make sure the kids are safe. But I'm just like wigging out because I had started to trust drivers again. Trust is too strong of a word. I had stopped obsessively checking my rearview mirror to see what the cars behind me were doing to make sure they were going to stop in time. And now I'm going to be back in that mode again. So that's going to be fun. So yeah, the first thing I do is I call Joe and I'm like, hey, this is where I am. I'm really close to the house. Come meet me here because I just got hit and I'm freaking out. So I get the guy's information, verify it looks like there was no damage to the car. Still going to get it checked out by a body shop, though, one that I trust. Make sure the kids are okay, and then wait for Joe to show up. So Joe can drive the kids home, and I can drive his car home. Because at this point, I do not feel comfortable driving the children around, at least for the rest of the day.
And that's scary. Just getting into a car accident in itself is scary. But when you have 2 kids in the car, one is not even a month old.
Yeah, I'm just like even though this was a very minor car accident, had to have been less than 10 miles an hour, probably less than 5 miles an hour that he hit me at. Like, do I need to take the kids to urgent care? Do I need to check them for anything? Like, none of them are crying. They're acting fine. Well, Lily's crying now, but that's because the van stopped. Let me put on some Sesame Street. Hey, look, Lily's fine now. Then Elliot's freaking out because the van stopped. So I call their doctor's office after hours. Doctor's like, as long as they're acting fine, they're fine. Just keep an eye on them. So far, the kids have been great. Lily is acting like her normal adventurous self. Elliot is acting like a 1-month-old. He just kind of lays there, eats, sleeps, and poops.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. So many diapers. And I guess Monday I'll be driving around again. So see how that goes because I have to take Elliot to his doctor's appointment because he gets his 1-month checkup on Monday.
Seriously, people, if you are out on the road, put the cell phone down and pay attention.
So many people that I've seen on their cell phones. It's ridiculous.
I know we've been locked inside our house for over a year, but take your driving seriously.
For serious. But on a lighter note, we survived a family outing to a quote-unquote restaurant. That was nice.
That was nice. Yeah. We went to a local coffee shop, and Lily and Elliot, you, me, and our friend all joined us.
Mm-hmm. We picked her up so she wouldn't have to be at the house when her husband and father-in-law were working on the house. And then she could come and trim our dog's nails because we're terrible about keeping up on that. And our dogs needed some loving. And she's like, please give me coffee. And we're like, we can go get coffee. So we go to the local coffee shop, decide, hey, we're going to stay and hang out. So far, the kids are acting okay.
Lily sat in a chair by herself, no booster.
She's a big girl.
Right. And she didn't really...
She barely made a peep. Elliot barely made a peep once we got him out of his car seat.
Right, yeah.
They were very well-behaved children. But we still had a woman giving us the stink eye. Like, why did you bring 2 small children here? Because the 2 small children need to see that people exist and need to know how to interact in public. And hey, look, they're more well-behaved than most people.
Yeah, that's completely true.
Yeah. And as a reward, Lily got most of a banana chocolate chip muffin, which she really, really enjoyed. And Mommy got a chocolate croissant, which Mommy really, really enjoyed.
And I just got my caffeine.
Yeah.
And I was happy. Yeah, so that was our Saturday. That was really nice to get out of the house. Yeah, that was fun. I drove the van. Caroline sat in between.
I sat in between the children.
Yes.
Trying to keep the peace.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, I was very proud of the children. Would it have gone as smoothly if Hillary wasn't there? I don't know. But the kids did really well. So
I'm sure Hillary would come to that coffee shop with us at any time.
Oh, yes. Hillary really likes it, but she doesn't ever have an excuse to drive out that way. I drive out that way just for the coffee shop.
That was a long week, and we are grateful that it is finally the weekend. We are both enjoying an adult beverage. So what are you drinking today, Caroline?
In my appropriate glassware of a ginormous mom wine glass, I am drinking a Brink Brewing King Cake Baby. This is one of my favorite seasonal beers because it tastes like a king cake. You get the cake, you get the icing, and the sprinkles in this beer. I don't know how they do it. It is a 5% ABV, 17 IBU. There is like 0 bitterness in this at all. It's so yummy and so sweet. Their description is, this spiced ale is brewed yearly for Brew River Creole Kitchen in Columbia, Tusculum for Fat Tuesday. King Cake Baby is a light body pilsner with lactose and cake flavoring. Smooth, light, white, bready malt flavor, medium body from lactose. It fits it. It's yummy. It tastes like king cake. I really enjoy it. I get it every year, at least every year that I can get it. Couldn't get it 2 years ago because I was pregnant with Lily, and that was sad. Did I make you get a flight glass of it so I could have a sip or 2 of it? It's possible that I might have done that, but I'm not sure.
I thought we bought a crowler, and when you were pregnant with Lily,
and we might have saved it. That sounds like a thing we might have done. But other than Bock beer, this is my favorite Lent beer. Like, Bock beer is my favorite style and is going to be the first thing that I go to this time of year. King Cake Baby is a very close second because it's not like super high percentage. I can drink 1 or 2 and not really tell that I've drank 2 beers. Bock beer, not so much.
No.
So what are you drinking? Because we're not drinking the same thing today.
No, we aren't. I'm drinking a West Side Brewing GIL, which stands for German Irish Lager. It's very crushable. It's not anything hugely special. Like, it's not super hoppy. It's very smooth, about 5% ABV, 18 on the IBU scale. And this is what their description says. Our tribute to Cincinnati's heritage of both Irish and German immigrants. This mashup takes the malt recipe of a classic Irish red ale, our German lager yeast, and a mix of both traditional German and Irish hops to create a deep amber lager with notes of light caramel and toffee with a dry, clean finish. That's a very accurate description. It's kind of a mix between, like they were saying, an Irish red and a typical lager, like a Yingling or any other lager. So it's really tasty.
And we look forward to it every year.
Yeah, and it's a seasonal beer, and luckily they can it. So I bought a 6-pack, managed to grab a 6-pack. This seasonal beer lasts a bit longer than the Bock beers do. as we discussed last week, Bock beer is pretty typical. It only lasts a single weekend of the year.
If you're lucky, you can find it for 2 or 3 weeks, but they typically only brew enough to get them through Bockfest weekend and a little bit more. They don't get a whole lot in the tank.
Yeah, and since they're distributing the GIL, as they call it, I think it'll stay around for a little bit. That's really good. Westside Brewing is a really nice place. I like them. So shout out to them.
And unlike some other breweries, take it or leave it, it is what it is. They pride themselves on staying more to style than doing whatever the new trendy thing is. So their beers are amber, pilsner, peanut butter stout, like they do the German Irish lager. Their beer is just called what the style is. And they don't do like, we're going to do a triple fruited milkshake IPA that we just put all the fruit puree into. They don't do a whole lot of trendy things. They do a Schwarzbier, which is a German for black beer, and they call it a Schwarzbier. They don't try to hide it under some other name. And people still drink it, even though most places outside of Cincinnati probably wouldn't touch anything called a Schwarzbier because they'd be like, what is this? It's too dark. It's too gross. I'm not going to drink this. Where Cincinnati's like, yes, that is delicious. We will drink it.
Well, cheers to the weekend, and Lord help us in the week ahead, because starting tomorrow, we are going to have to do it all over again. As an added bonus, tomorrow we get to spring forward. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as when we fall back. So before kids, springing forward was a pain. Falling back was fantastic. Actually, before kids and before dogs. But you can't really explain to a small child or to a dog. I know you think that it's 6:30 at night, but really it's 5:30 because we fell back an hour. So I'm going to need you to let me sleep in, stop whining at me for food, stop whatever it is that you're currently doing, because just like chill, we'll get to you within the hour. Springing forward is a bit better because now we're an hour ahead of their schedule, but no sleeping in ever gets to happen. We do not gain any kind of sleep from any of these time changes because no one else in our house understands what is going on. So it's going to be fun. So much fun.
And Lily's pretty stubborn these days when it comes to naps, and luckily she goes down at night pretty easily.
She at least stays quiet in her crib. Whether or not she's sleeping, I don't know. But she's quiet in her crib. I'm happy.
Yeah, but the nap situation is entirely different. And when she doesn't get a proper nap, she's a mess.
A little bit. A little bit.
Anyway, on to our main topic of the day. We are going to talk about St. Patrick's Day.
Or St. Paddy's Day. Not Patty, Paddy, because Patty is the short for Patricia in Ireland versus Paddy, which is the short for Patrick, right? You have a whole thing that you share every year about this.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I shared my grammar girl reminder. I don't know about the Patricia Patrick shortening, but it is indeed spelled Paddy and not Patty. St. Patrick's Day is an exciting holiday. As the resident German in the room, I never miss a drinking holiday. At least not before kids, I didn't.
I mean, the Germans always look for an excuse to drink. At one point at the Donauschwaben, we had Friday night Steinverein, which was the second Friday of the month, the second or the third Friday of the month. But it was basically an excuse to get together at the club and drink beer for cheap out of a beer stein. Ideally, you'd bring one of your own beer steins from home that you don't use a whole lot, but it was just an excuse to sit around and drink once a month.
Steinverein in German means Stein Club.
Yes.
So it was, you see a lot of breweries that have mug clubs. A Stein is just a fancy name for a mug. So we decided to make our own mug club.
They wanted to get together and drink more often.
They did make their own Stein. They designed it and they sold it. And people bought it.
We didn't buy one. We should have bought one.
We have enough of those.
We do have enough glassware as we stare at a small fraction of the glassware that is in our house. So St. Patrick's Day is for the patron saint, St. Patrick. It became a feast day in the 17th century and has sort of ballooned into this crazy commercial thing accent, where Chicago dyes the river green and people all over the United States dress up in massive amounts of green, put shamrocks on everything, and just get completely shit-faced because Ireland. And that is the extent of what they know about St. Patrick's Day.
And they drink green beer too.
They do.
I'm not a huge fan of the green beer.
It's basically, we're just going to take Bud Light or an equivalent and put some blue food dye in it so it turns to a pale green, because yellow and blue make green.
Right, but I'm not a fan of that. But I am a fan of Guinness.
Irish Reds are always delicious.
Irish Reds and cider.
Half cider, half Guinness. Oh, I miss that.
It's called a snake bite.
Or a bruised apple. It has a few different names.
Yeah. Well, I'm drinking my GIL out of a Guinness, an etched Guinness glass. It has my name on it.
A custom. Yeah.
It says Ludwig. It doesn't have my first name. It has my last name. So Caroline can also drink out of it if she prefers to.
Yeah.
But there's the little turtle on it, and there's a pint glass of Guinness on his shell. And then on the other side, there's the Guinness logo. It says Guinness Draft. So I don't actually have any Guinness, unfortunately, but maybe I'll get some in time for St. Patrick's Day this week. They make them in the can, and it's nitro. They have the nitro packs in them.
Yeah, you like getting those cans when you can.
I usually try to get it once a year at least. So usually when we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, we tend to bake some awesome recipes, none of which that we made up ourselves.
And I don't have time for that this year. Maybe at the halfway to St. Patrick's Day, I'll be able to make some stout brownies again, and we'll have some stout in the house. Well, we do have stout in the house. It's just a matter of where it is.
You have several boxes of brownies over there, so we could very easily make stout brownies in time for St. Patrick's Day.
We'll see if it happens. I do miss one of the first St. Patrick's Day things that I made when our friend used to host an annual St. Patrick's Day party before he had kids. It was almost like a trail mix. So I had to pick out all of the marshmallows from my Lucky Charms cereal, and I mixed up Lucky Charms, popcorn, pretzels, M&Ms, and sprinkles. And then I melted chocolate, mixed all of those things up without the Lucky Charms marshmallows, and then threw the Lucky Charms marshmallows into it. It was really yummy. It made a really big batch that we all devoured, and I lost the recipe. I need to make it again because it was delicious. Definitely not healthy, but super delicious.
Perfect for a college student / just graduate.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, Lily can't eat it because it does have popcorn in it, and she's not supposed to eat popcorn until she's 2 or older. It's a choking hazard.
Well, then, I guess you'll have to eat all of it.
Oh, darn.
She'll find a way to get some. She's resourceful like that.
I mean, I guess I could make it without the popcorn. It'd still work. But yeah, we had some adventures at his house.
Yeah, the St. Paddy's Day party at his house was very interesting. His house is it's an exact replica of our house, which is, you call it a split ranch?
Yes, because it's a ranch, but you cut the ranch in half and then you offset the floors by half. So instead of having a set of like 13 or 14 stairs to get from floor 1 to floor 2, we have 7 stairs, and we have 4 separate sections of our house. We have like a basement, the ground floor where the garage is, the slightly above ground floor where we've got the kitchen and living room, and then the second floor where all the bedrooms are. So it's a ranch, but you split it.
And it's more open than a bi-level.
It is way more open than a bi-level, which is why we like it more than a bi-level.
Yes. So he has a house like us, and he came up with a drinking game.
It was Steppen die Haus because it took place on the stairs of the house. So I think it ended up being 2 beers total, but on every landing, you got a third of a beer. So you went up 7 stairs, you drank a third of a beer. You went up 7 stairs, you drank a third of a beer. You went up 7 stairs, you drank a little over half of a beer. You went down 7
Ring the bell.
You ring the bell. You went down, drank the other third, went down, drank the other third. And then when you got back to the basement, You finished the beer and you had to shoot an arrow at a target, but it was like a Nerf arrow. It was weird. I was driving, so I did not participate.
Those were not, well, Nerf in general, it's not very aerodynamic, so it's very difficult to aim.
I don't think you actually had to hit the target. You just had to shoot the arrow.
This is like the game that they play in the New Girl episode.
Like true American, like two people know the rules and that's it.
The rules keep changing.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they did not benefit the owner of the house. So it's a timed event. Before anybody did anything, they decide they're going to make a wager where whoever has the slowest time has to eat a raw potato. Why? Because drinking? I don't know. People are weird. We love our friends, though. Sometimes we make some really weird decisions, though. So Joe participated. I did not, because I was going to drive us home. Because at the time, we didn't live one street over. And unfortunately for the owner of the house, he had the slowest time. And I think he was the one that said you had to eat the raw potato.
It was his idea.
So it wasn't like he could back out on it. He wanted to. He tried to. But Germans are a stubborn bunch. You said whoever's slowest has to do it. You got to do it because you were the slowest. So reluctantly, he ate a little raw potato. Did not eat the whole raw potato, just ate part of it.
That was a fun party because I think, was it on St. Patrick's Day or we just celebrated it on that Saturday?
We celebrated it over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, the owner, the host of this particular party, also homebrewed, and he brewed two separate brews specifically for this party. He brewed an Irish Red and a Stout, I believe.
I can't remember what the second one is. I just remember the Irish Red because he said, I think this keg is almost empty. Maybe we can finish it by the end of the night, which we then took as a challenge, which somehow we failed, I think.
No, we definitely blew one of the kegs.
Okay.
I don't know which one.
Again, I was not drinking as much, so I was not paying as much attention to the beer levels.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but he had kegs of this stuff, and he had his own kegerator, so it was serve your own, and these were...
They're 5-gallon Coke kegs.
5-gallon Coke kegs, so it's not like it was a normal keg, but it was a decent size. And there was a good amount of people there too.
Yeah.
All drinking it. It was good. That beer was delicious. So props to him.
Yeah, he does some good homebrews.
I don't know how much he homebrews now, but he has 2 kids.
Yeah. We still homebrew a little bit, but we haven't brewed anything since Elliot's been born, but that was also a month ago. And we typically only do like maybe 4 or 5 beers a year anyway.
We try to do it once a quarter.
Yeah.
I think we've been below that average the last year.
But we also have kids and dogs and
2 kids under 2. So
yeah, home projects. I regraded the backyard this summer.
Well, pregnant technically, right?
Yep.
You didn't know you were pregnant?
Project wouldn't have gotten done if we did. So unfortunately, he had kids. They stopped doing their big St. Patrick's Day parties. But then we discovered an Irish band, care of one of my friends from Girl Scouts, and they go all around town St. Patrick's Day from bar to bar, and we decided to follow them around one Saturday.
Yeah, that was a crazy Saturday. It started early, right?
It did.
I want to say
it was definitely before noon.
Yes.
Was our first event.
Yes.
And we went to 4 different bars. We might have only gone to 3 of them though, because we did not finish out the night with them because we're like, it's late, we're going home.
Yeah, so it started at Molly Malone's.
In Covington. Or was Molly's in Pleasant Ridge still a thing? Okay, it was when Molly's in Pleasant Ridge was still a thing.
Yeah, so it started at Molly's in Pleasant Ridge before the new owner took over.
Yeah, and before it burned down.
Yes,
that place had terrible luck.
It did. Yeah, I loved it though. I mean, they remodeled it and it was beautiful, and then it burned down.
Yeah, it was a shame. But
not at the fault of Molly's, I don't think.
No, it was an apartment fire that took them out too.
Yeah, several businesses on that block.
Yep.
So I believe the itinerary for us that day was we went to Molly's and the band played. We stayed for that and we had quite a few drinks, but we were responsible, right?
We took turns. I was going to do the bulk of the driving, so you did the bulk of the drinking.
Right. And then I think we went to the brewery down the street.
That sounds like a thing that we would do because there was time between the two different sets.
Yeah, and we got food. We went to Nine Giant down the street, and that's the only time we've been there, but it's a small little brew pub.
No, we've been there twice. We drove by another time, but we've only been there twice.
Oh, that's right. We did go twice.
The first time we got food, the second time we only got beer.
That's right. It's a small little place.
I think they might be a little bit bigger now.
They have a second location, or they were going to have a second location.
There are so many breweries in Cincinnati, it's very hard to keep track.
Yeah, so this was quite a few years ago, so they've probably changed the layout and their menu and everything. They used to be famous for making these one-off beers, right?
Yeah, they'd make a really good beer and then they'd never make it again.
Yeah.
Like, not that they would make terrible beer after that, but they're like, we made this beer once, we're not going to make it again. Here's a new thing that's also very yummy.
And they do like experimental stuff.
Yeah, there wasn't anything that was just like a straight style. There's always something a little bit wonky to it in a good way.
Yeah, I haven't had a bad beer there. And there was a lot.
Yeah, they had a wide variety because they do a bunch of small batches.
Yeah, so that's their niche, is the small batch. Not quite like the Firkin. Remember the Firkin Fridays?
I miss Firkin Fridays.
I know. I don't know why Brink doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah. Maybe we can convince them to do that again post-COVID.
Maybe.
But will I be able to go with two small children?
Probably not.
Oh, well.
Hey, as long as they do the crowlers.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah. So we started off in Pleasant Ridge. I don't remember where we went next, unless if maybe we did go to Molly's Covington.
No, I think we went home. I remember going home to take care of the dogs.
Oh, that would probably be a thing that we did at some point too, yeah.
We probably napped.
I know we ended the day in Reading.
Yes.
At some weird wine bar place, but
yes.
They still had beer, and they kind of had like fest hall seating, which was also really weird because it did not fit the aesthetic of the place where we were.
Well, they might have just had that just for St. Paddy's Day.
It's possible. We haven't been there since. We don't go to Reading that often. Well, and that area is always under construction too.
Yeah.
As far as that stretch of 75. But
we're true West Siders.
Yeah. Bought a CD from the band, which was like, we've been listening to you guys for like 2 or 3 years. We should probably buy at least a CD. And now we only have one car that can actually play CDs. So
I have it downloaded.
Okay. We're good on that front then.
Yeah.
If I put it on my phone.
Yeah. It's in my Dropbox. Well, the band is called Fintan, so shout out to them.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Fintan. They're great. Very much into crowd participation. They give you a little song sheet so you can participate in the songs.
And the wooden clogs.
Yeah, they have Karen's fake knockers. So instead of having to clap your hands all the time, you can bang together your 2 wooden sticks.
And they found out very quickly not to give them to me.
Yeah, because Joe would bang them on the table and then tear up the table.
Tear up the knockers.
And the knockers, too. Yeah, Joe was then told, no, you're just allowed to clap.
But that was a fun day. We also went to Molly's for St. Patrick's Day, not because of Fintan, just because
I didn't have school the next day, and or you were off work.
I think I randomly took a half day.
Yeah, and I was like, you're going to drive me home.
Yeah, well, poor Molly's.
Yeah, I liked Molly's in Pleasant Ridge. Wasn't too far from home. The food was good. The beer was good. There were a few places nearby of interest as well.
They supported live music.
Yeah, they had a lot of live music acts there.
And the dancers, too. They had dancers, the Irish dancers.
I think those followed the music acts. Like they were fans of the music acts that would then get up and dance.
No, there was on the St. Patrick's Day.
There was a group of dancers St. Patrick's Day when we were up there.
Yeah, and they were raising money to go to Ireland.
That sounds right.
And they were competing.
Yeah, they were going to do a dance competition, like Lord of the Dance, but not Lord of the Dance. Lord of the Dance used to be a thing. Everybody forgets about that. It was fun, though. Looked fun. Like, oh, people dancing while playing the violin. This is my jam. And then they faded away.
Yeah, I don't understand that reference.
You also had better TV access than I did.
Is that a PBS show?
They were on PBS quite frequently. I watched PBS quite frequently. So, yeah. I think I also saw them come to Cincinnati? I would have to talk to Mom about that one to confirm and just make sure it wasn't a fever dream. I want to say, though, there was something that we did at Music Hall, and we went with one of our friends, and like I was younger, and my friend fell asleep, and we're like, how did you fall asleep? It was super loud, but that might have been something completely different. I have no idea. My memory is completely shot sometime, and it is way past my bedtime right now, because my bedtime is like an hour before the kids go to sleep.
Well, then we can wrap this up, unless you have anything else you want to say.
St. Patrick's Day is nice. I like Oktoberfest a bit more, but
we participate in Oktoberfest a lot more.
Well, and St. Patrick's Day is a weekend, 2 weekends if you count the halfway to St. Patrick's Day celebrations that a bunch of places do. Oktoberfest in Cincinnati takes place from the last week in August to the second weekend in October. There's at least one festival happening every weekend, and we would go to a very good amount of them.
Drink lots of Oktoberfest beer.
So much yummy Oktoberfest beer.
And now we're old and we can't do that.
No, because we have the children and sleep is a thing that we need.
And our tolerance is in the gutter.
A little bit.
All right, so that does it for our main topic. We have some listener feedback this week.
We do?
We do.
Did you print it out again on our non-existent printer? Or the printer that you're hiding from me?
Yep, I have it right here on this sheet of paper.
What other secrets are you keeping from me, Joseph, other than the location of this mysterious printer?
Oh my goodness. You are ruining the radio magic. Podcast magic.
I will learn, maybe. So what is this listener feedback that we have?
This week's feedback comes from Karen from White Oak. And Karen says, I can't believe you took your young kids out of the house to a playground. COVID much? That's all it says.
Well, these kids be driving me crazy. They drive me less crazy when they're sleeping. So if they get to run around for an hour to sleep for 3 hours, I am a happy mama. So yeah, took the kids to a playground. No regrets.
No regrets.
Not even one.
Plus they had a good time, if that counts for anything.
Lily had a blast. Pretty sure she wanted to live at the park.
Specifically in the maze. She just went around and around and around.
Yeah, I tried to take a video of her going through the maze, and she just kind of got caught in a loop. And I'm like, should I get you out of this loop? Should I let you keep going? We're just going to see where this goes. Eventually, she got herself out of it.
Well, that's good. You too can be like Karen from White Oak. If you like what you hear, please take a moment to leave a rating and review. We'd really appreciate the feedback. Plus, it helps the show grow.
And also, help us grow by spreading the word about the podcast. Share it with your friends, family, your neighbor down the street, that random guy at the grocery store.
He needs more craft parenting podcasting in his life.
I mean, obviously, if he's at the grocery store, he needs a podcast to listen to while he's at the grocery store.
Yes, he does. That does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for listening. And with that, I'm Joe.
And I'm Caroline.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast.